All right, hello YouTube. My name is Alan, and it's that time once again. Let's talk metal. Tonight, we're going to jump right into some new wave of traditional heavy metal. This is a genre that I've talked about in some previous videos. Went a little in-depth a while back on this, and folks were pretty interested in it. There are some channels on YouTube that are specifically dedicated to new wave of traditional heavy metal. If you want to check out a lot of these bands, they post a lot of albums. There's a ton of bands out there. It's almost impossible to keep track of all of them. But tonight, I did want to highlight 4 that I've enjoyed quite a bit. I think they've got some kick-ass songs, and so I want to play a few clips so folks can check them out for themselves, hear what they sound like, and if you do enjoy them, by all means, go check these bands out on Bandcamp, buy a digital download, buy a CD or some other merch if they have it, and support these acts. All right, without further ado, let's check out our first one. This band comes out of Madison, Wisconsin, and they are called Lords of the Trident. Pretty cool name. Going to check out a clip from their, I believe, 3rd album, 2015's Frostburn, and the song is called Knights of Dragon's Deep. Without further ado, here is Lords of the Trident. All right, there we have Lords of the Trident kicking things off with a barn burner of a track, Knights of Dragon's Deep. It's the opening track off their 2015 album, Frostburn. Great album title, cool album artwork, slightly cheesy band photo. From what I can gather about this band, they started out as a little bit of maybe kind of a jokey, D&D side project. When you look at a couple of their earlier releases, they have, very obviously silly names and such. But it looks like on the Frostburn album, they decided to start taking things a bit more seriously. And they have the musical chops to turn out some really good songs. Really like Knights of Dragon's Deep. Gets stuck in rotation quite a bit. Not every song is quite up to that caliber, to be fair. The album, is a little bit of a mixed bag, but it shows the band moving in the right direction, and they have done some releases since then. As a matter of fact, they have a new album out earlier in 2022 that I was not aware of, but now that I am, I'll be checking it out in the near future. The new album, which is available online, is called The Offering. Has one very nice review posted for it so far on Metal Archives. So, check out Lords of the Trident if you liked what you heard. If you're into the sort of, D&D fantasy style of new wave of traditional heavy metal, this is a band that you might enjoy quite a bit. But we're going to keep things moving pretty quick here because we've got 3 more bands to check out. And up next is a band called Prelude to Ruin. This band is out of the Detroit, Michigan area, although Metal Archives also lists a connection to Arizona, so not sure if they've relocated or if they just have members in different places. Anyway, last year they put out their first EP called Ronin Ex Mortis, and we're going to check out a clip of the lead-off track, which is called Lethal Enforcers.
Covering Christ, clutching blades, bring back bells at midnight.
right, Prelude to Ruin, blazing through a track called Lethal Enforcers. This band has members that were previously in an act called Borrowed Time, which I've heard some different folks in the YouTube community talk about. I have a couple of their singles that a fellow YouTuber sent to me. They're pretty cool singles, but it looks like that project came to an end, and a couple of the members began Prelude to Ruin as their next project. Very fast paced, as you could hear. Not all the songs are quite that intense, but this band definitely sort of, is veering in the direction of some speed metal. One thing I like about them that kind of makes them stand out is that even though when they go very, very fast, they don't lose control of it. There's still a very good, strong sense of melody. There's a lot of focus on that, so that even the faster tunes have, really good, catchy stuff. It doesn't just become speed for the sake of speed. The vocal approach is a little over the top. It took me a few listens to warm up to the vocalist, but pretty comfortable with it now. Just a little different style than what I was expecting at first. They have, again, 4-track EP out that you can pick up to support the band. A little thing to note, if you're listening to it online or something, the two of the track titles on the back are switched in order when you're actually listening to the disc. So they'll play in a different order than what you see listed there. Very minor thing. It's pretty easy to notice. Very nice CD. Very impressive start. And hopefully we'll see more good things coming from Prelude to Ruin in the near future. All right, up next we have a band that's got a little more of a catalog behind them. Folks will be familiar with Ironflame. This band, the mothership lists them as being from Ohio, but they also have members, right up in that neck of the woods along the Ohio-West Virginia border. Andrew DeCagna, of course, is also involved in projects like Icarus Witch and Nachachwan. And this is his kind of traditional or maybe power metal project. It's very close, kind of straddles the line between those genres a little bit. And well, hell, here, let's play a clip and let you check it out for yourself. This will be a little bit of Everlasting Fire by Ironflame.
Take my hand and follow me on a path of misery to a place where only madmen dare to go. This is now your destiny. You will never be set free. Curse forever to this realm of endless woe. Demons have been summoned. You can feel them coming. Feel the flames grow higher, burning with desire into everlasting fire. Feel the flames grow higher, burning with desire into everlasting fire.
All right, so Ironflame, strong track off of this, which is their 4th album called Where Madness Dwells, just released earlier this year. All of the band's material has been quite good. This may be their best album to date, however. It's instantly catchy, high energy, exactly what you'd expect from Ironflame, just even a step better than the quality stuff they've released in the past. Really dig the cover art. It's a little thing, but it's very reminiscent of some of the Kirith Ungol album covers, kind of mixed with a little bit of the Circle of the Tyrants artwork from Celtic Frost. So it works quite well on a few levels there. Hits the right nostalgia buttons just right. The album is full of bangers, which what else would you expect from Ironflame? It's a solid project. Whether you call it traditional metal or power metal is open to debate. I know Andrew kind of thinks of the band as a more of a traditional project. For me, they're right on that line. I can see calling them either. At the end of the day, however, it doesn't really matter whether you call it heavy metal, power metal, or whether you just, come up with some other weird genre to stick it in. The music is damn good, and it's the music that matters. So if you are not familiar with them, check out the new Ironflame release, also available on Bandcamp. The CD, if you buy it that way instead of getting the download, it does have an extra track that's exclusive to the CD. So a little incentive to go ahead and buy the physical product there. As you can see, nice physical product as well. Why wouldn't you want to buy that? For just a few dollars more. but nothing wrong with buying the download if that's how you prefer to get your music. All right, we've got one last project to show off this evening. This one, very cool band out of Boise, Idaho, which is not something you're going to say very often when it comes to heavy metal bands. The band is called By Fire and Sword, and they have this first EP out, which has a very long, convoluted name. Freedom Will Flood All Things with Light. We're going to check out a clip of the track Testify off of this one and see what you think of By Fire and Sword.
I come from the desert, my hands packed in weather from gripping the sides of a holy mountain high. Just out of reach was the glorious peak, feeling the heat of the holy light. Back into the cave, I'm here to save you, so proud and the brave you to answer the call. And we will crash forward by fire and by sword, we will march onward towards glory. Child, you've been driven deaf, dumb, blind, left to float in the dark. But I see you, child, and I'm telling you, there is a better way to testify. Testify. Testify.
Okay, there you go. A little bit of Testify from Idaho's By Fire and Sword. That is such a badass track. That chorus just rumbling with the double bass, big, heavy chords just pummeling you. It's a heavy track. Anyone who thinks that, new wave of traditional heavy metal or power metal is, sort of wimpy, lightweight fare, play that track for them and watch them eat their words. This band does not seem to have much of a pedigree. The members, there's not other projects listed that they've been in before, and haven't done too much stuff yet. But it's a very, very promising EP. Really dig it quite a bit. You can find it again if it's not available through Bandcamp anymore. I've seen a couple of Discogs vendors that have the CD very cheap, so it's an easy one to pick up and acquire. Production is, very nice and heavy, as you heard. The vocals have kind of a weird approach to them, where they're kind of, sometimes sung and sometimes have these, kind of almost spoken interludes. And yes, as you may have picked up, by the cover imagery and some of the lyrics, there is a Christian slant to the band for sure, but it's done in a very, cool heavy metal way. It's not a band that necessarily feels overly preachy. It's not the 80s style of Christian metal where bands were just like, let's keep on rocking for the rock, keep on rocking for the rock. Yeah. It's just like, musically, some of those bands were quite good. Lyrically, they just didn't put much effort into it. By Fire and Steel are doing it the right way, making it really interesting to check out. Again, slightly odd, delivery and production to the vocalist, but I think his voice has a lot of character, and I kind of like the way that is. Yeah, part, heavy metal anthem, and just a pinch of sermon thrown in there for a good measure. It gives it kind of a very cool, unique vibe to it. So, By Fire and Sword, here's hoping that we hear more from them in the near future. All right, that's going to do it. Straight in, straight out, with 4 slabs of new wave of traditional heavy metal, bands that hopefully we'll be seeing and hearing more of in the years to come. Now it's time to talk metal in the comments down below. What did you think of these 4 acts? Any of them catch your ear right away? Are there other new wave of traditional heavy metal bands that you have been checking out that you just can't get enough of lately? There's always new stuff coming out in this genre. As I mentioned, nobody can really keep on top of all of it. So let me know what your favorites are from 2022, 2021. And hey, odds are I've not heard them. Maybe I'll find some that I really dig. Maybe they'll be in the next edition when we check out some more new wave of traditional heavy metal in a future video. But for now, let's call this one to a close. So everybody take care, and as always, keep banging your head.